Gaining wisdom from an experience requires reflection. In thinking back on the significant events of my life, experiences good and bad, it was the act of assigning meaning that has made all the difference. Reflection requires a type of introspection that goes beyond merely thinking, talking, or complaining. It is an effort to understand how the events of our life have shaped the way in which we see the world, ourselves, and others, and it is essential for any leader. Reflection is what links our performance to our potential. It is the process of properly unpacking ourselves as leaders for the good of others. We can't apply an abstract construct such as leading through crises without experiencing what crises mean. So we should really take some moment to understand why we need to take time to reflect. Think about the moments when you seem to be very busy, but surprisingly unproductive at the end of the day. Therefore, it's important not only to slow down, but to take the first pit stop and look at the journey ahead. Here's 5 reasons why we need to pause and reflect. First, take a break. Our lives and pursuits of our dreams are a marathon, not a sprint, and this means it's crucial that we pace ourselves instead of charging ahead. This will lead to burnout when we charge ahead. Remember also that we need to take things slower and evaluate. Evaluate what's going on. What have we accomplished? When you're in the middle of pursuing your dreams and hitting the pause button is going to give you time to evaluate what you've accomplished so far. Are you on track with your goals and milestones? Do you have sufficient resources to progress to the next step? Do you need to speed things up? Or can you afford to take things slower? Next, celebrate the victories. Sometimes in the busyness of life, we get so overwhelmed that taking the next step may be too laborious and arduous, sort of like a runner struggling to put one foot in front of another when he's at the point of extreme fatigue. In such a case, pausing and reflecting is going to give us a chance to look back and celebrate victories, however big or small they may be, which we have achieved along this way. Fourth, learn from our mistakes. Certain mistakes we make during our journey really is not apparent until we look back with hindsight. With this in mind, we should see our failures not as reasons for disappointment, but as valuable learning opportunities. Moreover, the more we learn from our previous mistakes, the less likely we'll repeat them down the road. Lastly, check out our future direction. This is probably the most important reason for pausing and reflecting. You can't know where you're going unless you pause to reflect to make sure you're getting exactly where you want to be. We certainly have some benefits to pausing and reflecting. Kevin Cushman, the author of The Pause Principle, shares these benefits. He says, it enables us to focus our intention and our energy, to grow, to create, to solve problems, and to innovate. It provides a way to instill a consistent intentional manner for reflection by building a self-awareness and a clarity of purpose. We explore new ideas. We risk experimentation, we question, we listen, we synthesize, and we also are able to challenge the status quo within us and around us. Reflection is going to help us to understand our strengths and our weaknesses and help us to become better learners as well as better leaders. It also helps us to encourage and to plan development for our capabilities. We're able to adopt new ideas, adopt new strategies, and to apply them effectively. When we look at reflective practice in the workplace, we need to realize that very serious risks can be minimalized when we take the opportunity to ponder the consequences of our choices. The quality is optimized. We're not so worried as much about the quantity. We worry more about the quality. What does the customer think? What does our employee think? Are we giving value to them as people? Others are going to adopt and also use these reflective practice methods. This is going to increase the productivity within an entire organization, as well as ongoing improvement and risk avoidance. These two things are going to help us to avoid stagnation within the corporation, within our families, and within ourselves as we encourage daily innovation. We want to start using reflective practice by simply and mindfully, if not intentionally, thinking about things that have happened in our lives. whether in a personal, a professional, or even a learning situation. It can be done individually or in groups. Reflective practice can be managed via media, or it can be done as a written opportunity. Creative imagery can be done, such as graphic organizers or mind mapping, reflection sketches. A reflective dialogue and discussion with other people, especially if you're an extrovert, are going to really help you to ponder and to think about who you are. Also, don't give up the opportunity to look at the social media option, academically studying, and also looking at published works. When deciding what method and media to use, consider the basic process for effective practice requires a deliberate way to link and progress through the stages of reflection, understanding, and ultimately ending with action.